Welcome to Standard Chartered Money Insights, a podcast series by Standard Chartered Bank that brings you market views and insights on the go.
Welcome to Cut to the Chase. Today is the 25th of August, 2026. My name is Jonathan Liang, and today I want to talk about Japan. We recently updated our forecast on Bank of Japan's interest rate outlook, moving from expecting just one more rate hike to now two more between now and year-end 2026. What prompted our change in forecast is mainly two things. First, Japan's first joint intervention with the US since 1998 on the yen is an admission that jawboning or just threatening intervention is no longer sufficient to prevent the yen from weakening. Second, we think Prime Minister Takaichi is also coming to the realization that Bank of Japan is so-called behind the curve in terms of interest rate policy, and even though she may not personally like to see faster rate hikes, that is probably the only lasting solution to provide more structural support to the yen and to curb inflation. Now, if our forecast about Bank of Japan's quickening the pace of rate hikes were to come to pass, there will be several market implications that we should all watch for. First, Japan has for years had a large yield disadvantage versus much of the world, and still does today. But as Japanese policy rates start to move higher and quicker versus other developed market countries, this could provide greater structural support for the yen. On a trade-weighted basis, the yen remains quite undervalued, actually. But the Bank of Japan's reluctance to hike rates quicker has thus far meant repeated shorting of its currency by investors, necessitating repeated interventions recently. If investors believe the central bank is willing to hike rates faster, that should bring some more lasting relief to selling pressure, and yen could appreciate from current levels. However, before the market buys into that narrative, in the very short term, we could see US dollar JPY retest the low 160s. Second, as domestic yields rise in Japan, we could see capital flows start to change from Japanese institutions investing overseas to potentially repatriating capital back to Japan to take advantage of higher domestic yields. While long-end U.S. bond yields have risen considerably this year, as we noted in Cut to the Chase recently on August 18th, Japanese government bond yields have risen even faster, and the yield differential at the long end of the two countries' bond markets have already begun to narrow. Already, Takaichi's administration has made it clear that they expect GPIF, Japan's $1.8 trillion pension fund, to reallocate their investments back towards Japan. As yields in Japan continue to climb, other domestic institutions may follow suit. Now, this is not something we are expecting to happen in the near term, but something for us to monitor in 2027. Thanks for listening, and we will speak again in future episodes of Cut to the Chase.
Thank you for listening to Standard Chartered Money Insights, a podcast series by Standard Chartered Bank. For more details, visit Market Views on the Go on our website or click the link in the description.